Both today and tomorrow are WRAL weather alert days with dangerous heat looking likely. I'll let you know how hot it will feel today. Plus, I'll let you know when temperatures finally cool off and we see better rain chances.
And a child hurt in a shooting. We are following this breaking news overnight in Durham. The investigation into shots fired at an apartment complex. Plus, new murder trial developments. Attorneys are preparing for a legal fight in a case surrounding the 2012 murder of a UNC student. What they're calling for as they get ready for a trial in the fall. Many of you know the story of Faith Hedgepeth. We'll dive a little bit more into this update on that story. But first, we want to say thank you for joining us this morning on WRAL News. I'm Chris Lovington. We want to swing over to my friend Grant Skinner right now. He's got a heat advisory to tell you about today. We were telling people about this yesterday, that it's going to be another hot day and another weather alert day.
That's right. We mentioned that we would see heat advisories likely issued starting today, then probably on Saturday as well, with intense heat looking more likely. This heat advisory covers parts of the triangle and points east all the way towards the coastline. The heat will be most intense today at the coast. A peak heat index for us, though, at around 105 degrees. So feeling very hot this afternoon. Make sure to drink plenty of water. Take those breaks inside whenever possible, especially if you have to be outside for a long period of time. 100 for the high in Raleigh, 101 Fayetteville. Heat index values pushing up to around 105 in both spots. 95 for the high in South Hill. 98 degrees in Lewisburg. Also, we have an air quality alert for parts of the triangle and the triads. The air quality could be unhealthy for some today. We're quiet this morning. Could see a few brief showers this afternoon. We'll talk more about that rain chance, plus when we'll see even more storms this weekend. That's coming up.
Your full forecast in a bit. Let's get back to that breaking news. Right now, part of Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh is shut down, and that's because a crash killed at least one person. Let's bring in Kirsten Clark. She's been at that scene near Treywick Road in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. Kirsten, there were 4 vehicles involved, including 2 motorcycles.
Yes, Chris, this is a devastating and still active scene here at Capitol Boulevard at Treywick Road. I'm going to take a step out of the way so you can get a view of what we're looking at here. As you mentioned, 4 vehicles involved in this crash. Raleigh police confirmed that, and we're seeing a tow truck. You can see that white car heavily damaged in the front, as well as 2 motorcycles. This call came in around 2:35 this morning, and we know at least 1 person has died in this crash. Again, a very active scene. We're seeing yellow tape blocking off several points here along this stretch of Capitol Boulevard near Treywick Road. And Capitol Boulevard from Old Treywick Road through this intersection at Treywick Road has been closed off for quite some time at this point, and Raleigh police say it's unclear how long it will be closed off. As you can see, the scene is still not clear at this point. All the vehicles are still here. So at this time, we're still asking Raleigh police how many people were involved in this crash, if there were any additional fatalities or injuries, the extent of those injuries, and what exactly happened leading up to this crash. So we, of course, will keep you updated as we learn more. Live in Raleigh, Kirsten Clark, WRAL News.
And we're following even more breaking news over in Durham. Police say that a child was grazed by a bullet in a shooting early this morning there. Monica Casey has been following that story over at Rochelle Manor Apartments there. Monica, gunfire there was fired just after 12:30 this morning.
That's right. Police were on scene a little before 1 o'clock this morning, and you can see it's still active hours later here on Rochelle Street. There are 2 Durham police vehicles blocking off this street with crime scene tape in between them. There are evidence markers here on the ground, and we can't count exactly how many, but I can tell you one of them says 23, so we can safely say there are almost 24 evidence markers on the ground at this scene. If you come over here, this is the building they are focused on right now. We heard on scanner traffic that one apartment building was reported hit by bullets and that a child was grazed by a bullet. There are evidence markers on the ground over there as well. Right now, we are still working to learn the extent of any injuries in this shooting incident and whether anyone is in custody. We will keep you updated. Live in Durham, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Over in Cumberland County, a man is in the hospital this morning after a shooting. This happened around 11 last night on Fulton Street near Vander. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was there as deputies investigated, but no word yet on the condition of the man who was hurt or if a suspect is in custody. Well, today we'll get new data about the number of cyclospora infections in Wake County. And this is happening as a lettuce supplier has been linked to one outbreak. Sources tell NBC News the federal investigators are linking part of this multi-state outbreak to Taylor Farms. This is the company that supplies lettuce to Taco Bell locations in the Midwest. But the lettuce is not linked to the outbreak here in North Carolina. Back in 2024, Taylor Farms supplied onions to McDonald's that were linked to an E. coli outbreak. And this is why we're staying on top of developments in the Cyclospora outbreak. You can watch our evening news starting at 4 p.m. for new information about the number of cases here locally and any new information from health leaders. Well, people in Cary are demanding answers, and that's because a state audit uncovered more than $1 million in questionable spending tied to the town's former manager. People showed up to last night's town council emergency meeting, and they're looking for answers from elected leaders. They want to know specifically why the spending wasn't caught sooner and why taxpayers won't be reimbursed. Town leaders said they can't get the money back, but they did pledge stronger oversight and new financial safeguards. Many people say that those changes are overdue and their elected officials need to do better.
We elected our officials. They ultimately made the space where they needed to, and mistakes were made, and I think they're doing their best to acknowledge. And I hope that they continue to make things public.
Now, for more on this audit, the town's response, and the questions still unanswered, you can find that full story on WRAL.com. The full state audit document, on the town of Cary, it's nearly 2,600 pages. This includes receipts, photos, and a full breakdown of all purchases. You can find that document on WRAL.com. More than 12 motions have been filed in the 2012 murder of Faith Hedgepeth, the former UNC student. She was raped and murdered in her apartment. And the defense team and the prosecution have filed numerous motions this week. In one of those, the state asked the court to prevent video recording and photography of certain witnesses at trial, specifically the two women who lived with Hedgepeth. Another references the genetic testing that helped investigators zero in on a suspect and then finally make an arrest. That person, Miguel Enrique Salguero Oliveras, was taken into custody 10 years after the murder. The trial is scheduled to begin in September. A Wake County deputy is in the hospital because of a crash, and that happened yesterday afternoon near Battle Ridge Road. The WRAL Breaking News tracker was at that scene. That's where you can see a red sedan and a white SUV. They're both damaged here. The sheriff's office tells us the deputy should be okay, and the other driver did not need to go to the hospital. President Donald Trump has declassified intelligence that he says reveals vulnerabilities in the U.S. election infrastructure. He's also renewing his call for stricter voter requirements. Let me walk you through this. The president made both announcements during a primetime address last night, if you missed it. He said Homeland Security has uncovered hundreds of thousands of non-citizens in state voter rolls. He also continued to push Congress to pass the Save America Act. This would require voters to prove they are U.S. citizens before they can register to vote in federal elections.
Congress must pass the Save America Act. How easy is that to do unless you want to cheat? The only reason you wouldn't do it is you want to cheat because your policies are so bad and your candidates are so pathetic that you can't get away or can't get elected any other way.
President Trump has also, without evidence, claimed voter fraud in the 2020 presidential election, and he claims these documents show the nation's current election system. It is dangerous. He says they expose high levels of foreign interference through hacking. 4 people are facing charges connected to an organized check fraud scheme in Johnston County. Smithfield police say they received a report Wednesday about a fake check at the State Employee Credit Union. Their investigation found 4 people traveled from the Fayetteville area to Johnston County to cash fake checks. They believe this group is part of a larger organization that has targeted banks across the county. And the Chatham County Sheriff has retired after nearly 4 decades of service. Mike Robertson's last day on the job was Wednesday. His retirement was celebrated during a ceremony at Northwood High School. He was presented with the Order of the Longleaf Pine and will now serve as a county commissioner. All right, so today we're going to hear from coaches and football players from Duke and UNC during the final day of the ACC kickoff. Duke will be looking to improve on a successful season last year. Head coach Manny Diaz led the Blue Devils to a 9-5 record last season on the way to an ACC championship. UNC is looking to turn things around after a disappointing 2025. Bill Belichick and the Tar Heels ended their season with a 4-8 record. Today's event gets started at 9 a.m., and WRAL is there and will have complete coverage in our later newscasts. Time on the clock is 4:39 on this Friday morning. Developing RTP. New zoning will allow for more businesses to grow within the park. What's to come as we await Apple's arrival in the Triangle. And a heartwarming reunion. Mr. Pickles, the little doggy right there, made a lot of recovery in his progress in his recovery. The moment that he got to meet the vets and the deputies who saved him.
And I mentioned this yesterday, the humidity will increase today, making it feel even more muggy out there throughout the day. It's going to feel very hot this afternoon. We'll talk more about that intense heat across the area as dew points climb and when rain chances return. All that's coming up. It's 4:43 on this Friday morning. Watching the tropics, still a couple of areas to watch. No changes with this system besides a slight change in the overall kind of the yellow blob that we watch for some possible tropical development in the northeastern Gulf. Could see this develop into an area of low pressure. It would take a long time before this develops into a tropical system. I think regardless, we could see some higher rain chances for portions of the coastline, but still a low probability of this developing into a tropical system over the next week. So we'll just watch for some extra rain chances along the southeastern coast. This area is still a low chance of development as well. It's a tropical wave that will move off the west coast of Africa. It's moving into unfavorable conditions, so a low chance of forming into anything. We'll talk more about our rain chances to close out the weekend, plus the intense heat we'll feel the next couple of days. That's coming up.
All right, sounds good, Grant. We'll see a full forecast in a bit. So we want to take you back out to that scene on Capitol Boulevard that we brought you a minute ago. So this is a live look through the WRAL breaking news tracker. Raleigh police say 4 vehicles were involved in a crash, and that was near Trayrick Road that you see here on your screen. We know at least one person was killed, and we're going to stay on this scene to ask more questions, including what led to this active investigation that's still playing out this morning. Well, it could soon become easier for North Carolina elections officials to throw out people's ballots. The North Carolina State Board of Elections has approved new rule changes, and basically one applies to people who don't have voter IDs but say they have a legitimate excuse. It allows people's votes to be thrown out even if some election officials believe they are telling the truth. The rules still need to be approved, though, by another state board. RTP is celebrating its future after new zoning changes aimed to attract more business opportunities. The changes open the door for more residential and mixed-use developments. It's an effort to help retain North Carolina's renowned workforce. The changes will also provide flexibility for businesses who want to downsize or even expand on their sites. It was unanimously supported by RTP businesses, including Apple, which recently announced plans to delay its RTP campus.
The folks from Apple have been very engaged and positive in helping us, as you heard, get to this collaborative result. And so they are very much engaged with us on planning for the future of RTP.
The RTP Foundation didn't want to specify what companies are looking to take advantage of the new changes, but say there is a growing interest from commercial real estate investors. Next week, people will get the chance to share their thoughts on a deal that would allow the Raleigh Housing Authority to buy a Cary apartment complex. The authority is under contract to buy Amberwood Apartments. Residents in the area reached out to WRAL after this. They're asking why the Raleigh Housing Authority would buy a property outside its jurisdiction. The authority told us that deals like this keep major investors from buying the properties and then raising the rent. A public hearing is scheduled for July 23rd, and the discussion, I should say, will be about whether the authority will be granted tax-exempt status from the Cary Town Council. Okay, this story, a lot of people have been following it. A happy reunion between a dog and his rescuers. We first told you about Mr. Pickles last month after he was removed from a Chatham County home. He was covered in pounds of matted fur. Well, now he's getting ready to go to a new home. Mr. Pickles is a brand new dog after being cared for at Longleaf Rescue. Yesterday was a big step in his recovery process. He was reunited with the vets and the deputies who helped him. They tell us it was, in their words, a shocking case, and it was good to see him doing so well.
I feel like couldn't even see where his face was, couldn't see his feet. He was just completely matted. I'm just immediately crying because the situation's so sad, and you can tell that whatever this dog has been through has been so much.
He was very quiet. He was very shy. His tail didn't wag. Now his tail is always wagging, and he is very talkative.
And there is some more positive news. There are already quite a few applicants to adopt Mr. Pickles. He's expected to find his forever home very soon. Grant, I don't know if you have a dog. Do you have a dog, Grant?
I don't have a dog.
Okay.
The dog, so I'm hoping in the near future maybe I get a pet, a dog or a cat soon.
Any story like this always hits me right here.
I know.
You know, my dog died, so I always get sad when I see these dogs who are obviously going through a tough time. But to see him recovering like that, it just warms my heart.
Yeah, and it makes me keep in mind, especially during this intense heat, that our pets are important too. We always think about staying hydrated ourselves and taking breaks inside, but the pets need love, and they need to make sure that they, especially if you have an outdoor pet that's outside the majority of the time, when it it gets this hot, they need to come inside, make sure they have hydration as well, have a lot of AC and shade. We need to care for them as well. It's going to be very hot today. Look at the heat index values past noon. Over 100 degrees all the way through 6 o'clock. We could peak at around 105 degrees for the heat index this afternoon. So just keep that in mind. It is going to be very hot today. Take those breaks inside whenever possible. A heat advisory is in place for parts of the Triangle, including Wake and Durham counties. Again, even those areas not in the heat advisory will still be hot today. And the heat advisory extends all the way to the coastline. It will feel even hotter towards the coast. Air quality alert is also in place, so it could be unhealthy for some spots, especially for parts of the Triangle and the Triad and points north into Virginia. So just keep that in mind today. Also, unrelated to the air quality alert, again, it's kind of in the upper parts of our atmosphere, but we do have some more of that smoke from the Canadian wildfires today, so that will allow for a bit of a haze or a bit of a milky sky today. A small rain chance later today, but most spots stay dry. I left in a 20% chance of a few showers or a brief storm. But again, most places are quiet. A few more storms possible Saturday, and then on Sunday, a better chance for scattered showers and storms as a cold front approaches the area. The heat could feel even more intense on Saturday with more moisture in place. We have a severe threat both Saturday and Sunday, a level 205 threat for the Triangle and points north on Saturday, and then by Sunday, a level 205 threat covering almost the entire area. We're going to talk with our team about this, likely going to issue a weather alert day on Sunday as well, as we could see damaging wind gusts and the possibility for some isolated hail both Saturday and Sunday with storms moving through. Again, the better rain chance comes on Sunday. We've upped that rain chance to 60% both Sunday and Monday. Temperatures, though, are looking a little bit cooler. I like that. Around 90 degrees for the start of the week. Maybe some 80s by Thursday. Chris, I'll take that. Some 80s would be very nice.
I hate that cooler technically isn't wrong.
I know.
But
it's not cool. It's not cool.
Thanks, Grant. Time on the clock is 4:50, and we're talking about this four-legged crime fighter on the job. The Durham Police Department has a new addition. In just moments, you're going to meet K9 Rocco. And the Odyssey, it is here. Zendaya says that her casting was atypical. We'll hear how her husband, Tom Holland, broke the news of her role. Good morning, Goldsboro. You up right now? Go ahead and grab some coffee. It's only 4:53. You're going to need it to kind of wake up as we keep telling you more news here on WRAL. Well, hey, just so you know, you'll have more dining options soon the next time you're going to fly out of RDU's Terminal 2. That's because the airport cut the ribbon on 5, not 1, but 5 new restaurants yesterday. This includes Bond Brothers Kitchen and Bar, which is a Durham-based brewery, Adios by Durham chef Oscar Diaz, and Conniption Cocktails and Cuisine, another Durham-based business. And this is all part of a multi-billion-dollar capital improvement project for the airport. There have been 2 people charged in connection with the Pokemon card fraud scheme, worth more than $10,000 here. We're talking about Dongwei and Xingyi Li. They each face 4 felony charges. This includes conspiracy, identity theft, and financial card fraud. According to the arrest warrants, they used a stolen debit card to buy $12,000 worth of Pokemon cards. They're then accused of trying to sell those cards back to the store to make a profit. There's also an ICE detainer for Dongwei, who is a Chinese citizen. A new 4-legged crime fighter is on the job for Durham police. All right, let me introduce you to K9 Rocco. He's just over 2 years old, and he's now starting training with his handler. He'll soon be on the streets helping keep the city safe. Looks like the Odyssey arrives in theaters today, and Zendaya says her husband Tom Holland told her about her role in the movie. Here's David Daniel with those details in today's Hollywood Minute.
You gods don't speak in ways we understand.
Who doesn't understand pain? Or blood?
Zendaya says when her husband Tom Holland was cast in the Odyssey as Telemachus, they didn't know she'd end up playing the goddess Athena.
So Tom got the call, and I was over the moon, so excited. I was like, you have to do this, first of all. We'll figure out the schedule, whatever. And he, had a script that he was able to read, and I kind of maybe was over his shoulder reading it a little bit too. And I remember he came back home from a second meeting, and in no ways did I think I was like, we're already winning.
Right.
The win has happened.
But
he came home and he was like, read this again. And I was like, okay, yeah. Like maybe you want to talk about it some more or whatever. But he was like, now read it thinking about this character. And I was like, "You're joking." And he was like, "You have a meeting tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh, what?"
Yeah.
You know, so it was pretty cool that he got to be the one to let me know that I have a little meeting.
The gods told you.
Then I defy the gods.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
An earlier review said it's pretty good. Can't wait to see it. Looks like Flavor Flav's celebration of Team USA's female athletes. It's happening right now. The Las Vegas Strip hosted a parade yesterday honoring the women who took part in the 2026 Olympics. Flavor Flav says She Weekend, as it's called, is because he wanted a special way to celebrate the achievements of female athletes. Even more events are planned through Sunday. Time on the clock is about 4:57, and we're following breaking news right now over in Durham. A child grazed by a bullet. We'll get you an update on that shooting at the Rochelle Manor Apartments. And in Raleigh, a deadly crash on Capitol Boulevard, the closure that is in place and where that investigation stands right now. And just a reminder, it is a WRAL weather alert day. That's right, it's another one with a heat advisory in place. We're getting you a live look out at Goldsboro this morning as you're waking up. It's not too bad right now, but the heat is going to turn up soon. Meteorologist Grant Skinner will walk us through just how close we're going to get on record highs.